Hey everyone, as the spread of COVID-19 becomes more rampant throughout the United States, it's very obvious that NASCAR's deadline of returning to racing by Martinsville, which is what, May 9th, was not going to work out. Their plan was to do that, and then obviously Virginia got put under a stay at home order until like June. So the chance of that happening were very, very slim. And slim even to begin with at that point. I mean, that's only a month away, and it still seems like we haven't reached the top of the curve yet. Um, so that top of the curve is going to come like mid-April sometime, maybe even later than that, and then it takes a few weeks to even die out. Um, so it was looking like that was going to be a very, very optimistic deadline and one that wasn't going to be reached. So it was revealed and kind of leaked last night that NASCAR had a tentative plan um, for canceling the next few races even after Martinsville and then returning to action Memorial Day weekend, which I think is still a pretty optimistic deadline. And there's a very good chance that it's not even going to be until June or July when they return racing. Um, but maybe if they do it like the 600 or Kansas or sometime in June, they would do it without fans if it's reasonable at that point. Um, so basically, uh, there was a leaked thing that NASCAR had of their schedule plans and where they would be putting races because they've canceled so many already that's just like, okay, where are they going to put these? Obviously, the Olympics got canceled, so there's now a break in there and whatever. You can do some doubleheaders from some tracks, but like, what's going to happen? Where are certain things going to be placed? Obviously you only have two off weekends, so where are you going to put the other ones? Well, uh, that was kind of answered with this. So they're expecting to go back to racing Memorial Day weekend with the Coca-Cola 600, and then continue on with the Kansas race, the next race, and then some other ones as well, like we're normally used to seeing. The first change comes in the forms of Texas. Obviously, Texas was one of those races that got canceled uh, whenever last week or something. That would take the place of where Michigan is supposed to be right now, which is early June. So it would take that place. I think it's like June 7th or something. So Texas would go there, it'd slot in there, so that would take care of that track. They would then go to Sonoma like scheduled. They would go to Chicagoland like scheduled, and then the Pocono doubleheader, like always, is supposed to be end of June. The first change, or I guess the one of the biggest changes and a common theme that we're going to see with this cancellation of races is going to be midweek night races. The first one comes in July 1st. We're going to be going, if everything stays right, Martinsville is going to be Wednesday, July 1st. So that would be a midweek night race. And then obviously go to Indy, and then Wednesday, July 8th, Richmond, so another night race, and then go to then what should be Kentucky. Kentucky's supposed to be Saturday, the 11th, July 11th is supposed to be Kentucky. That's going to be moved to Wednesday, July 15th. Atlanta will be going July 12th, Sunday. So Atlanta takes Kentucky's race weekend, and Kentucky gets moved then to midweek race. Loudon will go on as planned, and then we get to the off weeks that we're supposed to be had because of the Olympics, which obviously aren't going to be had with the Olympics anymore. We still have some treks that have not been made up at this point. Most notably, Talladega, Homestead, Miami, Bristol, and Dover. Talladega would be the first off weekend race, so it would be July 26th. Homestead, Miami would go Wednesday, July 29th, and then Bristol would go Sunday, August 2nd. Michigan would then get a doubleheader. Remember, Michigan got moved from its June race to then put it into a doubleheader with the August race. That would be the August 8th and August 9th. Watkins now go on as scheduled. Dover would then get a doubleheader. August 22nd, August 23rd. Daytona would be the regular season ender. A change that you would think would go, why is this being happened? Texas and Las Vegas are planned to swap playoff dates. You might think, why? There's no real point in that. Why is Las Vegas getting moved to then, what's that, the third to last race of the season, Texas going forward in the playoffs? The answer is Las Vegas actually holds a festival annually. It's like a music festival or something. And that got delayed due to the virus going around. The makeup weekend for it is supposed to be the weekend the race in the playoffs is supposed to be going. So it would appear that Texas and Las Vegas will swap those dates. Las Vegas would be the third to last race, and Texas would be sometime earlier in the playoffs. Um, so basically, what that's saying is that since things are going to midweek and stuff, July is gonna look insane. Same with the end of June. So the end of June has two races at Pocono, right? That's Saturday and Sunday, right? 3 races after we go to Martinsville. 3 days after. 4 days after Martinsville, we go to Indy. 3 days after that, we go to Richmond. 4 days after that, we go to Atlanta. 3 days after that, Kentucky. 4 days after that, Loudon. That's insane. And then we take a whole week off, go to Dega. 3 days after that, Miami. And then 4 days after that, Bristol. And then obviously, then we get 6 days, then go to Michigan for a doubleheader. 7 days to Glen. 6 days for a doubleheader, and then Daytona. What this has done is just going to be a lot of racing, just all out, all throughout the time. Do not be surprised if we don't get back to racing until June or July, which would mean that Charlotte and I honestly don't think Charlotte and Kansas are going to happen on schedule, but the fact that they've done midweek races and that they're going to do midweek races when we get back to going shows that Charlotte and Kansas can also be midweek races, both of which have lights, so they could do it Wednesday night. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Wednesday dates that could be before the playoffs and not interfere with the playoffs at all. So I would not be surprised to see Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600, maybe be July 22nd or August 5th or 12th or 19th or 26th. Same with Kansas. Once again, night races. Where it's going to be a little weird, Texas, then got moved to Michigan's Park, which is the first race of June. If that gets canceled again, then do we put Texas in the middle of a week? Because they also have lights, but when was the last time they ran a night race in the Cup Series? But they could still do it. So we could put them in the middle of the week somewhere. Once again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week, like Wednesday dates that could be used. Then obviously after Texas was supposed to be Sonoma, which is the 14th, I believe. Then if they have to delay Sonoma, where does Sonoma go? Do they then move, say, Bristol, which is August 2nd? Do they then move that tentative date to a midweek race because they have lights? They can run it there, and then do they move Sonoma to there or somewhere else? Somewhere with lights, which I think Bristol is right now the only race. Bristol and Atlanta are the only races that are right now on a Sunday that have lights. In terms of like the ones that got postponed, so they could possibly move Atlanta to a midweek race with lights. Bristol could absolutely do that. It's a short track. It would make sense. The only other thing I could see them doing is, once again, they don't want to mess up the playoffs. Obviously, the big hype around Phoenix is like, oh, Phoenix is now the finale. Phoenix has been hyping up as finale and buy tickets for the finale. And all these tracks are like, oh, we're in the playoffs, so hype us up as playoff races and buy our tickets. In my opinion, they'll have to get rid of the playoffs, and then they could do some doubleheaders if this thing goes until July or something. Doubleheaders with Bristol, obviously doubleheaders in the chase like Texas and other tracks that are there. Talladega, I don't know if they want to do Talladega back to back. That'd be a little strange. But yeah, I think one of the biggest hurdles will be if it's going until the end of June and Pocono gets delayed. Where are they going to put Pocono? Obviously, it's a doubleheader, so they're going to need the weekend somewhere, unless they want to just cancel the doubleheader. But they're going to need the weekend for it, so they're going to have to move a track to somewhere. Like, once again, Bristol, but where do you put Texas then? Or where do you put Sonoma? I mean, just looking at this, trying to see Charlotte. Let's just say, worst case scenario, the first race that they get back to is July 1st, Martinsville, right? That's the first race they're able to get back to because of this Corona. That's hoping the worst case scenario. It could be worse than that, but we're gonna be a little bit optimistic and hope that that's the worst case scenario. Just a little bit optimistic. So once again, five races could be run Wednesday night. If Charlotte and Kansas get delayed, that's 2 dates. So that's the 22nd of July and the 5th of August that get taken up. Say Texas gets delayed again, that would then be the 12th of August. If Sonoma gets delayed, Bristol has to move somewhere. So then, and so does, or Bristol, Atlanta, because Sonoma can't be a midweek race because I'm sure they don't want to do it without it being a night race. Um, so then do you move Sonoma to either Atlanta's date, which is July 12th, or Bristol's date, which is August 2nd? That would move one of them to a midweek race. So that would be the 19th and the 26th. That could get taken up because then obviously Chicagoland could get delayed. If Chicagoland gets delayed, they have to go midweek racing because Pocono needs a weekend. So there's a lot that needs to be done. Where does Chicagoland get placed in all this? Basically what I'm saying is that if it gets delayed up to Chicagoland, it can all work out in the schedule. If the Pocono doubleheader gets delayed, there's going to need to be some big schedule shakeups to make that work because Pocono's going to need a weekend. And some of these tracks can run, once again, under the lights during midweek. Pocono can't. They don't have lights. They also have two races that are going on. So they need a weekend. Same with like Michigan and Dover with their doubleheaders. Basically, I think if Chicagoland gets delayed, and that's the last race that gets delayed, it could work out. Because obviously, as I mentioned, Charlotte, Kansas get put to a midweek race. Texas could get put to a midweek race. Sonoma could take Atlanta or Bristol spot, which then could go to a midweek race. Chicagoland go to a midweek race. That would be all the midweek races, all the Wednesday dates from July to August taken up. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Pray for the best. Pray for everyone out there. I hope this passes through. But you never do know. And stay strong. Practice social distancing. Don't go out unless you need to for food or unless you're working because you're essential or something. Um, just don't go out. Don't be stupid. It's real. That's for sure. Don't think it's a hoax or a conspiracy theory or something. Just follow what everyone's telling you to do and stay at home. Like, just don't be dumb because you might not die, but someone else could die from your stupid antics. So don't be an idiot. That's all I have to say. Thanks everyone for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you guys for the next video.